Hi everyone, it's Riggs. I'm coming to you with another video. Today we're talking about Star Wars. It's hard to believe that it's been a decade since Lucasfilm was acquired by the Walt Disney Company. In that time, there's been so many announcements of so many different movies, so many different directors, so many different stories, different eras in the Star Wars universe, and hardly any of them have come to pass. So this article I came across today highlights the 18 fired and replaced directors in the Disney era. I'll put the link in the description. Since the Disney acquisition in 2012, Lucasfilm has struggled to retain filmmakers for the new wave of Star Wars content. The dysfunction has led to a common theme of fired directors and writers, a trend that continues with no end in sight. Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy announced there would be a hiatus in feature film output after 2019 following the rise of Skywalker. The intention was to plan out the next set of movies and return to theaters in December 2022, though COVID-19 pushed each release slate back a year. So this is interesting. They're actually looking to plan something. So that should be a nice change of pace, though I don't really think it's going too well. Rumors of a secret Old Republic movie taking the now shelved Rogue Squadron's place were evidently off base, and the franchise's theatrical return is now at least another 3 years away. Star Wars fans will be held over well by the wide array of Disney Plus offerings, though the shows don't come with as much fanfare as new movies. They are, however, about as good as most of the new movies, which is not very good. It's not a problem that presented itself when the hiatus was imposed. The creative overhauls have been a struggle for Lucasfilm from nearly the moment Disney acquired the company, starting with the discarding of George Lucas's sequel trilogy outline. That was just the beginning, though. With rare exceptions, every live-action Star Wars project in the new era has been tainted by some kind of developmental hell. Some turned out fine. No, not really. Others suffered greatly, yes, and even more, never saw the light of day. This history could become a trademark for Lucasfilm, or one that's triumphantly turned around. The Force Awakens. Famously, Michael Arndt was fired from this movie, the writer of Toy Story 3. Rogue One. Gary Whitta, longtime ILM supervisor John Knoll, pitched the idea of Rogue One to Kathleen Kennedy as what was then considered an anthology film based on an episode for the unproduced Star Wars Underworld series. Gary Whitta was hired to write the script, but was later dismissed and replaced by Chris Weitz, whose final drafts differed greatly from Whitta's. When the film didn't come along as Lucasfilm expected, director Gareth Edwards was fired deep in the post-production process, though he retained a directing credit. Tony Gilroy was called in and assumed command of the editing process, oversaw significant emergency reshoots, and restructured much of the film's plot, collecting a screenwriting credit for his work. I think this was probably the most successful one of these changes. Solo. Phil Lord and Chris Miller, the creative duo from the Lego movie, were famously fired from Solo, replaced with Ron Howard. It was somewhat of a troubled production and ended up being a bit of a disjointed mess. This is the one, though, that I would really like to see a sequel from. I didn't think the movie was that great. I didn't think it was that terrible either, but I really kind of want to see where they were going with the criminal underworld part. I don't think Han Solo needs to be in it at all, but let's see. Let's pick up with the villains and see where things go. The Rise of Skywalker. Colin Trevorrow and Derek Connolly. To conclude the Skywalker saga, director Colin Trevorrow was tapped to oversee Episode 9 in 2015, writing the script with frequent collaborator Derek Connolly. Fired. Brought back in J.J. Abrams, and we know where that went. Boba Fett anthology film. Josh Trank. Okay, well, once Fantastic Four came out, he was gone. James Mangold was brought in. He was gone. The project was canceled. He's now doing Indiana Jones 5, which TBD. Obi-Wan Kenobi anthology trilogy. Stephen Daldry, before being greenlit for a Disney Plus series, a project focused on Obi-Wan Kenobi was being developed as a film. Lucasfilm approached star Ewan McGregor in 2015 about reprising the role of the Jedi Master after the actor expressed interest in doing a spin-off film, and a deal was quickly made to begin development. Stephen Daldry was hired to write and direct by 2017, with Hossein Amini later joining the writing team. It was later revealed that the film being developed was the first in a trilogy that has never seen the light of day. So obviously we got the Disney Plus show. This was something I was really looking forward to. I really think there's a great story to be told of Obi-Wan on the deserts of Tatooine, runs into some moisture farmers or Jawas or sand people or something that are in trouble. They're being attacked by some other villain. He needs to get a band together to protect these villagers, a la the Magnificent Seven. I think that's where they should have gone with this. I'm not too enthusiastic about the direction they ended up taking. Ryan Johnson's Untitled Trilogy, which will remain untitled. Benioff and Weiss, Untitled Film Series. Another trilogy that will remain untitled. David Benioff and D.B. Weiss, famous for Game of Thrones, mailed in the last few seasons of Game of Thrones, and their deal with Lucasfilm was mailed into the trash. Andor, Stephen Schiff. Bob Iger announced that Rogue One prequel series following Cassian Andor will be coming to Disney+. The show was pitched as a spy thriller project, with the Americans writer Stephen Schiff set to serve as showrunner. Script issues arose, and Kennedy contacted Tony Gilroy to take a look at the story, who instead developed a manifesto for what he thought the show could be. Gilroy joined the team for Andor full-time, initially set to write, direct, and work along Schiff. In late 2019, Schiff was released from the project entirely, with Gilroy taking over as showrunner and hiring a team of directors. The series was reworked to be comprised of two 12-episode seasons, the first of which has received near universal praise from Star Wars fans. I don't know if that's true. I've heard mixed results. I have not watched the show. I am not currently a subscriber to Disney+. I will probably see it at some point. Some episodes I heard were pretty boring. Some episodes I heard were the greatest Star Wars that has been in the Disney era, and some people have said it's the greatest Star Wars of all. I look forward to watching it someday. J.D. Dillard's Untitled Film, Star Wars, J.D. Dillard and Matt Owens. World broke in early 2020 that Slight writer and director J.D. Dillard signed a deal with Lucasfilm to develop an untitled Star Wars movie, working alongside Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. writer Matt Owens. The specific nature of the project remains a mystery, though early reports suggested the Sith world of Exegol could be a focus. But the film never began pre-production. As Dillard revealed in November, the project and his partnership with Lucasfilm had ended. Obi-Wan Kenobi, Stuart Beatty, one of the original writers for the Kenobi trilogy. Stuart Beatty spent over a year developing the film on which the Obi-Wan Kenobi series was based. The writer left the project after the movie was canceled, but his work lives on in various moments of the Disney Plus show, including the incorporation of Darth Vader as the main antagonist. So this is the guy, I guess, responsible for the canon-shattering Darth Vader sequences in the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. I think we talked about this guy already. Rogue Squadron, Patty Jenkins, fresh off her success in Wonder Woman 1984, was supposed to be directing a Rogue Squadron movie. We saw a pretty neat little vignette of her in a flight suit heading to an X-Wing. This thing is not looking too good these days. With Lucasfilm and Disney's troubled tendency to struggle with project development, there are a number of films and shows on the horizon that could lose creative leads. The next Star Wars movie now won't be released until 2025 at the earliest, barring a calendar shakeup with Avatar 3 and leaving plenty of time for a few more fired directors to earn their wings. Avatar 3. People are telling me that Avatar 2 is going to be a success. I don't know a single person that is looking forward to seeing Avatar 2 or thought it needed to be made. So we'll see how this goes. I guess they already shot it, so should be coming out in some form. Taika Waititi's Untitled Film. Announced as part of 2020's Disney Day festivities, Taika Waititi and Christy Wilson Cairns were tapped to pen a new film, with the former serving as director. Waititi's immediate attention was given to Thor: Love and Thunder, which was met with backlash from Marvel fans and critics. I have not seen this one yet either. It was something I was really looking forward to. I actually enjoyed the Jane Foster Thor storyline. I thought it was very powerful. There was a lot of crap in there, but the overarching theme of the whole run was pretty good. And I was looking forward to a screen adaptation of that, and my understanding is they missed the mark a bit. Lando. This is another one I think is a no-brainer that they should make. Justin Simeon, among the many Star Wars Disney Plus series announced during the big Investors Day event, Lando has drawn the least amount of chatter. Intended to serve as a connector to Solo of some kind, and developed by Dear White People's Justin Simeon, the biggest holdup for the project appears to be lead actor Donald Glover's busy schedule. That I understand. Lucasfilm still maintains an interest in completing the show, but Simeon wouldn't be at fault if plans fall through due to lack of movement. They better hurry up. Billy D. Williams isn't getting any younger. I see this as being a great opportunity to kind of do what they did with the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles. You've got old Lando sitting at a sabbath table, spinning yarns, and there's Donald Glover, and he's going to be acting out those sequences. Damon Lindelof's untitled film. I don't think I even heard of this one. Reports of Star Wars film being written by Watchmen creator Damon Lindelof broke earlier in the year and were recently corroborated. Shortly after Star Wars Celebration in May, Lindelof held secret writers' room meetings for 2 weeks with key Lucasfilm executives and co-writer Justin Britt Gibson. The story is set to take place after the events of The Rise of Skywalker, with the potential for characters from the sequel trilogy to appear. Sharmeen Obaid Chinoy, in a surprise move given her Pakistani exclusive body of work, Lucasfilm hired Miss Marvel, Sharmeen Obaid Chinoy, to direct Lindelof's picture. If I mispronounced this, I apologize. Obaid Chinoy joins a growing list of Marvel creators to be tapped for a Star Wars project. Though her fellow alum don't have great histories of sticking around, turnover in the director's chair is possible at any time for the still developing film. If Lindelof goes, Obaid Chinoy is naturally out the door as well. Sean Levy's untitled film. Word broke recently that Deadpool 3's Sean Levy has been tapped to helm an upcoming Star Wars film, which was later confirmed by the director himself. The current plan is for the director to see his Deadpool duties through to completion before moving over to Star Wars. The film is reportedly different than other projects currently in development, and with no attached writer announced, the movie could be over half a decade away from production. I mean, with this guy's connection to Deadpool, it could actually be a Star Wars Deadpool movie. Kevin Feige's untitled film. This is another one I don't see ever happening. After years of begging from MCU and Star Wars fans alike, it was revealed that Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige would be stepping into the galaxy far, far away in 2019. Feige will serve as producer for the film alongside Kennedy, but with his Marvel duties being all-encompassing, a time-frame production and release hasn't been set. So, producer alongside Kennedy, there's questions here on the longevity of Kennedy within Lucasfilm, and he's a pretty busy guy. Michael Waldron, as part of a larger deal with Disney, Loki scribe Michael Waldron will be penning the script for Feige's film. In May, the writer revealed he was deep in the process of developing the story, one that will be disconnected from the other Star Wars projects. A director for the film hasn't been named yet, though Waldron's strong working relationship with Feige should see their film through to completion. There aren't many Star Wars movies in the works at the moment, and for a good reason. The method of hiring Hollywood's latest, greatest, and then sacking them after one lackluster output is not a winning formula. Kathleen Kennedy discussed the need for commitment from the creative mind she brings in, but that needs to be reciprocated by Lucasfilm. That's fair. While some of the fired directors and writers were likely deserving of their fates, it seems that Lucasfilm and Disney can get trigger happy. Stephen Daldry, for instance, didn't need to lose his job. Obi-Wan Kenobi was fine as a series. Not special. It wasn't even special. It wasn't even fine. But could have been, had it gotten the movie treatment. The fallout from Solo's box office bomb changed the whole approach for Star Wars, and it's easy to question if the wrong lessons were learned. I think they were. For years, we've been hearing that it was too much Star Wars too soon, Star Wars overload. I don't think that's possible. I think that if you have good Star Wars, people will show up. I think it was bad Star Wars overload. There was too much of this crap, too much stuff like Solo in the can, rushing them out too fast, but there's plenty of room on the calendar for successful Star Wars movies if they want to put out one a year, if they want to put out two a year, if they want to put out one every other year. if the plots are solid, if the acting is good, if they're paced well, if they feel like Star Wars, then people will show up. Thanks for watching. Please feel free to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, hit the bell for notifications. We'll see you soon with another video.